but we have the special treat of being joined by North Park Orchestra students and the orchestra, right? So Tom Zell is here with them, and we're just thrilled to have this kind of collaboration and celebration and support of Abdiel, who's also a member of the orchestra. So thank you so much for just adding to the energy of the exhibition. This is wonderful. So we're going to hear them play first, then I'll reintroduce the artists, and then they'll do their talks and open it up to questions and answers for either one. So now I'll turn it over to the orchestra. Thank you so much for being here.
We're going to play two pieces. The first one is called Gloria in Excelsis Deo by Vivaldi, originally written for choir and orchestra, but today we're playing it just with orchestra. And the second piece is called Adoration, specifically for Abdiel's work and exhibition. Congratulations. Composed by Florence Price, Chicago composer. Abdiel.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So I know you have your own timeline, so we can adapt. Oops, I'm so sorry. Welcome everybody again. So just to reintroduce for those of you who have come in, we've just heard from the orchestra in support of Abdiel, who's half of the exhibition happening now. We have Abdiel Rodriguez, and we also have Diana Gonzalez here with their two respective shows. So what we've been doing in the past, which works pretty well, is that each of them, Abdiel first and then Diana, will introduce their shows to you, and then we'll do a joint Q&A where anybody can ask either one of them questions about their exhibition process and anything like that. So are you ready?
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Let's welcome them both.
Hi everyone, my name is Abdiel. Thank you for being here, each single one of you. I appreciate it a lot. I firstly want to thank everyone who has supported me in any kind of way on this project, and everyone who has been involved in some sort of way. So to start off, my love for poetry started after taking a class with Christy. Where are you? Christy. She's my current, for those who don't know her, she's my current professor in my directed research in poetry. And I want to thank her very much. So all love goes to you. Thank you very much. And thanks to that, poetry has unlocked another area of me where I can translate my emotions into words while allowing me to carve them the shape to the direction I want them to go to. These poems have inspired the show. In essence, the show aims to say that a place is just a place until you put your experiences in them, and then in that way you make it a part of yourself. And you could also say that after you put your experiences in this, you sort of humanize these objects and these places. My journey in drawing started when I first transferred to North Park. I learned how to draw, and my ability has grown since then. I felt very connected to these forms of expressions that I decided to sort of make an homage of the show to compress everything, those both mediums together. And this show, all of these drawings capture a place and a thing that has evoked and sparked a feeling, and each of these places for me marks a transition of stages in life. So for example, in the drawing Let Me, so these little two guys show like a cup of glass and then me holding some donuts. On their own, they can say something, so by the way they're said, they're very monotone, very eerie, but the poem gives it the context. If you don't know, the poem talks about depression and how everything in life just becomes dull. I wanted to create a show that is balanced between poetry and drawings. I wanted to merge these two and put my feelings to create a vulnerable conversation. And the show expresses a seeking ache to be understood. Thank you.
Hey everybody, thank you for coming to my show. That's the first thing I want to say. And the way that I'm going to start off by talking about my show is as someone who wants to become an art therapist in the future. I think it's important for all of us to find ways to cope with the stressors and anxieties, especially with things that we don't have control over. And one way we can do that is by practicing mindfulness and meditation through art, which was used heavily for my show. Each piece was therapeutic and relaxing for me to do. And that's because the creative process that I used included meditative motions such as repetition, making organic forms, and fluidity. And I've realized from practicing these over and over again with making my art that it can calm not just mine but the viewer's anxiety from the process, either from the process itself or from looking at my art. And then whether my art, whether it be the paintings or the drawings or the fidget toys, they all create a sensory stimulation, which is what I'm achieving. From, the apparent brush strokes on my paintings to the fuzzy pipe cleaners on my fidget toys, they together create a tactile, visual, and auditory sensory experience, which can help soothe our minds in a world that can feel chaotic sometimes. That's it. Thank you.
So we're open for Q&A. If any.
I have a question for either one of you or both of you. After working on pieces like this, so Abdiel, yours are like really labor intensive, working one at a time, and then Diana, yours has scale shifts that are pretty remarkable. So I imagine that for both of you, this is really the first time that you've seen your whole body of work up at the same time, right? So how has that changed your understanding of what your work is doing, if at all, or any other shifts that have happened just in the opportunity to see it all at once?
Could you rephrase
Abdiel,
that
go first.
question? Oh, okay. Can you rephrase the question? I'm sorry.
Sure. Has there been any shifts in how you see the work now that you get the chance to see it all at the same time?
I feel like each work I've made it very methodical, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do and how I wanted the drawing to present the poem. And seeing it hang up, I think it flows really well. I feel like each one just has they're speaking to each other. I feel like they're sort of coming alive with poetry.
For me, I would definitely say that I've realized when it comes to scale that my smaller and medium pieces have a more intimate relationship and connection that we, not just me, but the viewers can experience. And then for me, with the bigger painting, I've realized that gave me an outlet to express and explore my emotions without any limits. So both of, the contrast between the two is really nice.
I'm curious to hear you talk about the color in yours a little bit too, Diana, because Abdiel, you talked a little bit about how the grayscale was really trying to capture a certain mood, and I feel like yours is so saturated with color and so many different colors, but it has the impression, if you just take it all in at once with all of them together, it feels really happy. But then if you're looking at individual ones, it might feel a little more tangled and focused in on and hyper-focused, right? So I'm just curious how you were thinking about your color choices and what made you drawn to one kind of set of colors over another.
So a lot of my work has pinks and purples, and not only is it because those are my favorite colors, but I've found out that purples and pinks can represent healing, and that's what I wanted to represent and reflect in my show, since it's a lot about mental health. And then with the more bright and electrifying colors, I wanted to show those as bursts of different emotions. So that's also why there's a variation between the two, because not only is it about healing, but then just also exploring and expressing your different emotions through the creative process.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The art exhibition, it's
Interesting.
Honestly, for me, like, cause I I changed my major to art when I was a sophomore, and at first I had no idea what I was going to do because I mean I did art as a kid, but then I abruptly stopped in like middle school and high school, and so you know with doing it for not doing it for a long period of time, I had no idea. But then since I'm in the pre-art therapy track also, I realized that I wanted my art to show, you know, that we're expressing, we can express our emotions and explore our emotions, not just through talk therapy, but also through art, because emotions and trauma and feelings can be something very complex to work through. And so art can be very expressive in that way. And so that's why I do what I do. And I think I'm gonna just continue that as, you know, I become a future art therapist and just create more art that way.
Can you repeat the question again?
Do you think the intentions, feelings, etc. behind your art is finished with your assistant, or is it the beginning of something?
Like the exhibition itself is done, but I feel like from here on out, I'm currently working with Christy on this poetry manuscript, and I feel like from here on out it just goes up, you know. There's a lot to say, there's a lot of emotions that I want to still write though.
Would it be poetry relating to some of your art too? Would it be poetry related to some of your art specifically?
Yeah. Yeah, most of the manuscripts have, well, the drafts have the accompaniment of drawings. So,
Abdiel, can you talk a little bit about, you mentioned, like you said in your introduction, that you want people to sort of put themselves into the spaces. And I think one way it feels to me like you did that is you really thought about where is the viewer placed as they're looking at the drawing, like as a part of the drawing, as a part of the space. And so you've created like all of these spaces that are just empty but populated by the one you yourself as you're looking at it, right? And so it feels like it's about that, but also about the emptiness, right? So I'm curious to hear you talk about that a little bit too. Like it brings everyone to like moments of solitude, right?
yeah.
I mean, there's like a couple, I haven't had a chance to go, because we got there a little late, so I haven't had a chance to go in, but like those two and this one and other ones of yours that I've seen before, like the waffle or, you know, right, like no figures, just like spaces that we're sort of brought into, or like looking down at a table, or, you know, I don't know. I'm just curious how much you're thinking about like giving the viewer an experience of aloneness.
Yeah, so I do that by like creating like, my intention was not to put like me in like one of these drawings. Like for example, you see people like on this side, on that side, but they're embodiment of the feeling and just, it's a common like action of like waving someone. So, yeah.
I need to look at the rest of them so that people will use it a little more closely.
Abdiel, thank you for this show. It's really wonderful. So as we've been working together, we've talked a lot about like the city and public transit and specular encounters. How encounters are about looking or being seen, and a lot of the language in your poems are about that, sort of like the way someone's looking at you or the way you are seeing the speaker in the poem is seeing something. And I guess I wanted to ask you, like at the beginning of the your talk, you said that you feel like having the work all up in the gallery, that the poems and the images seem to be speaking to each other more. And I feel like this isn't a super clear question, but like, how does that feel connected to the things that you were interested in sort of like that specular encounter? Like, where does language fall into that? You know, because seeing and being seen is about an encounter that's without words, and yet you have all this language in the show.
So, my mind just blinked, sorry. So I think I wanted to, wait, can you repeat that question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I guess I'll just simplify it to this. Like you mentioned, you feel like the pieces are speaking to each other or in some kind of intertextual conversation. How do you experience that?
So for like the big drawings, for like this one and the other ones that don't have poem, I wanted them to be audible. So, and I wanted it to make it like this intimacy of like someone like sort of whispering into your ear. So, and these little guys, I wanted like the viewer to like have it in, like associated with someone instead of something. And I want these poems to be like personalized by others. Yeah.
And I was going to ask if you could talk a little bit about the sitting space in your space and how does that fit into the rest of yours?
So because my work and my show as a whole, I want it to be very therapeutic and relaxing for the viewers and welcoming. And so I put pillows and blankets to cover the couches to make it a more relaxing feeling and welcoming feeling when they can come into my show. And then also I, on the coffee table, put fidget toys so they can also relax that way, because you know with fidget toys you're feeling a visual, tactile, and auditory experience and simulation. So with doing that, it can soothe your anxiety and ground you. So that's why I also added those. So.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah.
I'm just wondering if you could say a final word. It's so evident all your friends and your peers are here to support you from so many different walks of campus and your faculty. Comment, if you would, a little bit on what it's been like just to live and learn in this community of artists and how it has shaped you from when you began your work to today.
So I'll go first. Okay. So I don't know. I feel like when you, like as a transfer student, like I came in here like blinded. I was like, everyone already has like their group of friends. Like, how am I gonna fit in? And then, but then it also helped that like newcomers, like freshmen, and then we were like able to like bond really well. And I think like throughout like our classes, it's mixed. We can interact with seniors, juniors, and they like really like teach you, or like their methods or ways on like how to navigate through these classes, and there's a lot to learn from them.
For me, it was kind of a similar experience because, like I said, I changed my major when I was a sophomore, and I had honestly no idea what to expect because I was already having anxiety about what my art was going to be about and if it was actually going to work out with me being an art major, and you know, just getting used to new professors. But honestly, like, I love the art professors. Like, they are so welcoming, so understanding, and just so, I don't know, it's just like, I feel like, you know, everything happens for a reason, and I'm super thankful for meeting the friends and art majors that I did and work with the professors that are here at North Park, so.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much for your enjoy more refreshments. There's lots. It's so
Oh yeah, I finished my test. Are you going to take it?
Yeah, and then finals. So. Yeah. Well, not for a little while, but like, well, this is
so soft.
That's there.